We've got more stuff. I picked up a binder from a witness in Texas that just gave me a whole lot of the recipe for what happened in Texas in 2020. And when I've developed that intelligence picture, it's going to come out. Hey, and it's bad. Hey. And then we have the future, or the present, really. We've already got the primaries underway. We've had some key elections in 2021, Virginia governor being one, New Jersey governor being another. And then we have the midterms coming up. It's a two-front war, but 2020, you cannot take your eyes off of 2020 because that is the precedent for all future elections. When I'm not in California, I always think of you great people. And I say the national election scene consists of California's election processes, tricks, techniques, shortcuts, and procedures being exported to the entire country. And you can see the explosive growth in Arizona, okay, where they've never had numbers that look like that until now, or Nevada, Washington, Oregon. It's unbelievable. Everything that's been done in Oregon and California electorally has been pushed out to everywhere else. Tell me this about California. How can California be blamed simultaneously for turning every state in the West purple or blue, and then double its own Democrat votes in 20 years? You've doubled your own Democrat votes in 20 years. Go look the numbers up. Doubled them. And then every state around you also gets turned blue. I think it would be one or the other, right? You're either sending all your Republicans off to turn everything red, and you're getting way blue, or you're sending all your Democrats off to turn everything blue, and you're getting more competitive. Makes no sense to me. Number two, we've already talked at length about the primaries here. Major concerns about primaries. You can let every general election run clean if you get the right nominees in there. Donald Trump was a once-in-a-generation type candidate that had to be removed. Trump's agenda dictates the next century of the world economy. Hey, all the trade deals getting crushed. America being raised back up as a world superpower. Economically, globally, getting out of the stupid wars. So the essential nature of Trump's removal was exactly that. It had to be that. If he had gone into office and become compromised like Arnold Schwarzenegger did as your governor, they would have been fine to allow him to have a second term. You would have just had an 8-year Democrat right after him to sweep it all away. So it's somewhat of a testament to Trump that that actually happened. And perhaps one day we'll be thankful that we did because we'll ensure a long-lasting, successful election system in the country. We have serious concerns with the primaries, though. In Pennsylvania, in Georgia, where Brian Kemp got 74% of the vote in the governor's race. Without a Trump endorsement, does anybody think Donald Trump is the kind of guy that wants to endorse the horse that's going to lose by 50 points? I don't believe that one bit. The conservative polling outlets had Kemp at 51% and going down going into election day. And they all missed by 23 points. Makes no sense to me. Finally, as with anything in life, anybody can complain. It takes very little talent to complain. Now, you may want to complain more accurately and make sure your facts are in order. I spent the first half of the presentation complaining about numbers, showing you the complaints. I asked multiple times if anybody needed me to go back over that, if everybody was smelling what I was stepping in. Okay? And I got a bunch of up and down head nods. And then I spent the back half talking about how we need to go about fixing this. Hey, first off, the canvassers. 2020 has been a long time ago. It's been 20 months. People do die, people do move. But those primaries, you guys need to absolutely ride the elections office to cough up the cast vote records. Because that is what's going to show you why you have such a heavy election day push for the Liberty candidates, but somehow in the first 3 drops of votes that are all the early voting and the mail voting, they're heavily disparate towards the other candidates in a 2-to-1 Republican county. The cast vote records are going to show you the parking lots that are voting, the people that are voting, the other 3 people in your house that are voting. And that's the stuff that's critical. The election records are absolutely being manipulated, and I think you'll find that there. So we have to absolutely get busy being the people that are about solutions, and it can be anything. So if you're not interested in elections and you were dragged in here, I would be willing to bet you care about something. There's a lot of key issues. Like, no candidate in 2022 should be worthy of your vote if they don't support fixing the election system, if they don't support medical freedom. If they do not support fighting back against these agendas that brainwash your kids to hate people based on the color of their skin. Because all of your Republican candidates are going to tell you they support the Constitution, they support the Second Amendment, and they're pro-life. And thank God for the overturn of Roe versus Wade. I heard a pretty unbelievable story about that the day it happened I believe it was on the 24th. The time that the announcement came out about Roe versus Wade on the 24th Eastern time, where the announcement was made, was 10:10 a.m.
Yep.
Does anybody know what John 10:10 says? The thief comes to steal, kill, and destroy, but I have come to give life and give it more abundantly. So if we don't have people that have the testicular fortitude, okay, let's extend it to female candidates too. Right? If we don't have candidates who have the fortitude to come out and fight for free and fair elections, and fight for medical freedom, push back against CRT and all the other toxic agendas, they can support all the other stuff and they're still a useless candidate. Okay. So what that means is if you're here in the crowd, you're not into elections, but you're into pro-life, and throw your heart and soul into it. Because there's still women out there who are going to wrestle with the fear and worry of carrying a baby to term that they don't think they can handle. Okay, that 9 months later are going to have a baby. Okay, and if you're pro-life, remain pro-life and figure out how you're going to minister to these people that are going to bring the baby in, okay? And if you're into medical freedom, we had a woman in Alabama that I met, and she took it to heart to get busy fighting for what she cared about. She was a nurse, and she started a medical freedom group in her home, and it was herself and 2 friends, 3 people. And then within 6 weeks, there were more than 100 people meeting in multiple homes. Right, that is the real deal, is that 10% of the people lead the way, 90% are just along for the ride. Right, you're never going to convince everybody to follow you. You're never going to have everybody like you. You're going to have all the evidence in the world, and there's still going to be 30+% of the country that's going to say that was a clean election because the media said so. History's not going to remember those people. They'll remember the people who stand up and make the changes. So with that said, I am available. Slide. If you have questions of me, especially stuff about elections, my email's there at the top. That's special@protonmail.com. I'm pretty good. Kathy, am I okay to answer my emails? Okay. I try to answer my emails, especially if you can keep it under 16 paragraphs. And I have a website I don't use much. I have 2 primary social media channels. I really am starting to like True Social. A lot less dramatic than Telegram. But I have Telegram as well. And if you want more detailed insight, I have a ton of published articles that are really deep into analysis about elections on my Substack, skeshel.substack.com. With that said, I believe that we have some cards that went around, right, for questions. Did anybody fill out any questions for me?